Hi students, good afternoon to everyone. I hope you all are staying safe at home. Be at home and stay safe. Today's topic is about cell biology. From the last two sessions, you have been learning about the cell structure, its function, what are the various cell organelles in it, what is the importance of each and every cell organelle. In today's session, we will be moving little further into the topic and a very interesting topic. Before moving into the topic, I would like to tell you a short story. Once upon in a village, there used to live two friends called Ramu and Raju. Both of them used to play every evening in the playground. As usual, they went to play one day. When they both were playing, suddenly Ramu fell down. Raju was quite frightened. Ramu had hurt cuts in his palm, in his knee, and he was bleeding profusely. So Raju thought that I'll take him immediately to home, and Raju took him to home. There his mother cleaned all his blood and then she applied some antiseptic lotion and tied a band-aid. Raju went home. After 3 days, Raju came back and then to see how Ramu was doing. When Raju came and the band-aid was removed, Ramu was almost all fine. His cuts were almost all closed, and the scratches whatever he had when he was hurt, they were not seen anymore. Both Raju and Ramu started thinking, what happened that my scratches have been gone from my body and the cuts have also been closed. So they both started thinking, what is happening? Did this band-aid did any magical work over here? Both of them started deeply thinking. Let them think for a while. We will move to one more related example of this. You all know that you all are not of the same height from the time you have been growing. When you were 3 years, you will be short. As you are growing, your height and weight is going on increasing. What is happening? How is your height and weight going on increasing? When you are sleeping, is any magician coming and adding mass to your body without knowing of you? Is this happening? Let us think about this also. I will give you one more best example. You all know that we have RBC in our blood. What is the full form of RBC? Red blood cells. What is its function? Do you all know? It helps in transporting oxygen to all the parts of the body. Do you know what is the lifespan of RBC? It is 120 days. If at this rate of 120, all the RBC die in our body, within a very short period of time, there won't be any RBC left in our body to transport the oxygen, and we will be dying soon. But this is not happening in our real life. We are having the constant number of RBC in our blood. So what is the process which is maintaining this constant number of RBC in our body? The answer for all these questions, whether it may be the magical process of the band-aid, or the one who is helping to increase the height and weight, or the one which is helping the constant number of RBC in our body, is nothing but cell division. So the process which is helping in doing all these processes is cell division. So in today's session, we will be learning what is the definition of cell division, what are the various types of it, how is this process going to take place, and we will be able to compare and contrast also between the different types of cell division. Apart from this, we will be also learning about heredity. What do you mean by heredity? You all know that you will be sharing few of your characteristics from your parents, your grandparents, and even from your aunt also. How is this happening? How are the characters transmitted from them to you? We will be learning about this topic also, and about the great work that is being done by Gregor Mendel, a great scientist in genetics, who has shown experimentally how the characters are being transferred from the parents to the progeny. So first we will be learning about cell division. The term itself is selling. Cell is undergoing division. That is, one cell is dividing into two or more cells. So if we want to define cell division, how will you define it? The process in which a single cell is dividing into two or more cells. So the definition of cell division is the process in which a single cell is dividing into two cells, or a parent cell giving rise to daughter cells. So this is the definition of cell division. Do you think cell division is such a simple process as we have given the definition? No, it is a very complicated process and a part of a series of events which are called as cell cycle. So we have to learn first what is cell cycle, then we will be moving to cell division. So cell cycle is nothing but a series of events that will be happening, which will be making the cell prepare for the process of cell division. Now just let us take a look at the slides. See, this is a process by which a parent cell is dividing into two or more daughter cells. This is the pic of slide of the cell cycle, which is divided into interphase and mitosis. I will be showing you in this. So we can learn cell cycle through this. So all this is a cycle, means it is a complete process which will be going on continuously happening. So cell cycle consists of G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase and M phase. Coming to G1 phase, all these phases G1, S and G2 all together are called as interphase, and this is called as the cell division phase. In the interphase, we are having three stages, that is G1 stage, S stage and G2 stage. G1 stage is also called as the growth stage, S stage is called as the synthesis stage and G2 is called as the growth 2 stage. What is happening during the interphase? Interphase can be called as the preparatory phase. As you all know, you will be preparing for your exams. Before you go to write the exam, you will have a rigorous revision and you will be preparing yourself to write the exam. In the same way, during this interphase, that is during these three phases, the cell will be preparing itself continuously for the process of cell division. So we will be learning in each stage what is happening. So first going to the G1 phase. It is also called as what? Growth phase. In the growth phase, these are the various changes that will be happening in the cell. The cell size increases. All the cell organelles which you have already studied in the before sessions, all the cell organelles duplicate themselves. You all know what do you mean by duplicate. Duplicating is preparing one more of itself. The RNA and the protein synthesis starts. That is, the cell is preparing itself for the further division. They starts, the RNA and the protein synthesis starts. And this stage is a long stage. It takes about 10 hours for this stage to complete. So G1 phase, the cell size increases, the cell organelles duplicate themselves, RNA and the protein synthesis starts, and it is a stage or the longest phase which is of 10 hours. Coming to the next phase called as the S phase, it is also called as what? Synthetic phase or the synthesis phase. This is one of the important phases in the cell cycle. What is it which is getting synthesized over here? The DNA is the one which is getting synthesized over here. What is the full form of DNA? You all have already heard it in the previous session. DNA is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. In the previous session, it was clearly being told to you how the structure of DNA is, and this is also called as the genetic material. You all know that the cell is preparing for the cell division. So the DNA, the cell organelles all have to be duplicated so that they can be equally shared from the parent cell to the daughter cells. So in this phase, the DNA is getting replicated. So what is happening? If this is the DNA which is present in the cell, it is going on replicating, that is increasing its mass. For example, you all know that the DNA is present in the structures called as chromosomes. This is the structure of the chromosome. These two are called as the arms and this is called as the centromere. So where is the DNA present? The DNA is present inside the arms. So in the case of the synthesis phase, the DNA is getting duplicated into structures called as chromatids. These are called as the chromatids. This is a single chromosome. You can compare both the structures, children. This is a chromosome with a single chromatid. Only two chromatids are there. Whereas this is the structure of the chromosome where it is having 4 chromatids, and here the DNA is getting duplicated so that the cell gets ready for the process of division. You can compare these two structures now. Here there was only a single DNA which was present, the genetic material. When the DNA has duplicated, it has been replicated into 2 parts. So these are called as the chromatids. The chromosome is same, but here there are only 2, whereas here they have duplicated into the chromatids. So this is how the DNA replication takes place in the process or in the cycle in the synthetic phase. Next comes the G2 phase. This was about G1 phase, this is about S phase. Now we will be talking about the G2 phase. In the G2 phase, there is no much process that is taking place, but what happens over here is the cell gets ready for the process of division. Ready for the process. At the same time, whatever the RNA and protein synthesis started in the G1 phase, it continues even here also, and the cell now gives a signal for the cell to the G2 phase. As soon as it is finished, it gives the signals for the cell that now you are ready to enter into the process of the cell division. So these are all the series of the events that will be taking place in the process of cell cycle: G1, S phase, G2 phase. Now as I told you, G1 phase is taking 10 hours, S phase will take 9 hours, and G2 phase will be taking 4 hours to be completed. Then what about the cell division phase? It will be of 1 hour. So altogether, how much time is a cell taking to undergo the process of division? 24 hours. A mammalian cell takes complete 24 hours for the cell division to occur along with the cell cycle and the cell division. You can calculate 10 plus 9, 19, 19 plus 4, 23, and plus 1, it is 24 hours. So every mammalian cell takes 24 hours to complete its cell division. But one interesting thing you need to remember is a liver cell takes some years to undergo the process of cell division. So this is all about the cell cycle. Now we will be moving into the process called as cell division. Cell division is actually of 2 types. It is nothing but mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis and meiosis both are the process where the cell is dividing, but there are many differences between mitosis and meiosis, which we will be learning in the further part of the session. First we will be learning about mitosis. Whether it may be mitosis or meiosis, all the cell division cells or the cells which are undergoing cell division has to undergo 2 processes. What are they? Karyokinesis and cytokinesis. You can see karyokinesis. What do you mean by karyokinesis? Already in the previous session you have learned that any term that is related to karyo will be closely related with nucleus. So karyokinesis is nothing but the division of the nucleus, whereas the next process called as cytokinesis. Cytokinesis is nothing but the division of the cytoplasm and the cell completely. So these are the 2 processes that take place in mitosis and even in meiosis also, so that the cell can undergo complete cell division process. Now coming to first karyokinesis in the case of mitosis. Mitosis. Mitosis is a division that occurs in the somatic cells of a body. What do you mean by somatic cells? All the cells which are present in our body except the cells of the reproductive organs are called as the somatic cells. That may be the cells of your hair, nails, your skin, any internal organ inside your body, all are called as the somatic cells except the reproductive organs, that is the testis in the case of the males and the ovum in the case of the females. All the cells are called as somatic cells and all the cells undergo the process of equational division only. This mitosis is also called as equational division. The name itself is saying equational. Equational means what? Equal. Equal in the sense, the mitosis, if the parent cell is having 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 23 pairs or 46. You all know that a human cell consists of 23 pairs or 46 chromosomes. When the parent cell divides, it gives the same number of chromosomes even to the daughter cells also. That is the reason it is called as equational division. That is, it is giving the same number of chromosomes to the daughter cells. So, the term equational division is being attributed to mitosis. This mitosis is generally occurring to help in the process of growth or to heal any wound that is occurring in our body. Now, coming to how the process takes place, as I told you, karyokinesis and the other one is cytokinesis. The karyokinesis process is again divided into 4 stages. They are the prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. These are the 4 stages that occur in the karyokinesis stage of the cell division in mitosis. For you to remember easily, taking the first letter of all the phases, you can remember it as PMAT, so that it will be easy for you to remember all the process in the same order, because you can't change the order of the phases that are happening in the cell division. PMAT is a short form through which you can remember that P for prophase, M for metaphase, A for anaphase and T is for telophase. Now, coming to the first process or the first phase called as the prophase. In the prophase, what will be happening is, now just take a look at the structure also. In the prophase, this is about the interphase. In the prophase, what happens is, whatever the chromatids which or whatever the duplication that has occurred in the cell cycle of the chromosomes, all of them are present over here. The centrioles start moving. In the prophase, you see that they are little close to each other in the interphase. In the prophase, they slowly start moving away from each other, and what happens over here is, simultaneously the formation of the spindle fiber also takes place slowly, so that the cell division gets completed very quickly. So, in the prophase, what are the various changes that are taking place is, the chromatin fibers condense into chromosomes. These are the structures which are called as chromosomes, which I have already shown you earlier. So, all the chromatin fiber, that is, in the prophase, the cell will be like this. You will be having all the chromatin fiber like this, and you will be having the nuclear membranes, you will be having the centrioles here and there. So, what is happening over here is, whatever this chromatin material is there, it starts itself to condense to form structures called as chromosomes. Okay? And what happens is, there will be a longitudinal split in the chromosomes. What happens when there is a longitudinal split? This only forms the structures called as the sister chromatids. This is what is happening. This single chromosome, whenever there is a longitudinal cut in it, they will be forming structure like this. So, these sister chromatids will be formed in the prophase, and what happens, this nuclear membrane whichever is present, it slowly starts disappearing, that is, it slowly gets rid from the cell, and whatever the centrioles are there, they start moving far away, and the formation of the spindle fiber is initiated. Initiated is, it is started. So, this is all about the prophase. Pro is the first phase. In this phase, what are the various changes that are taking place in the cell? First thing is, the nuclear membrane which was present around the chromatin material disappears. The centrioles start moving away from each other, and the formation of the spindle fibers is initiated, and the chromatin material which was present is condensed to form structures called as chromosomes, and there will be a longitudinal split in the chromosome, and the structures like this with two sister chromatids is being formed. So, this is all that is taking place in the prophase, and remember prophase is the longest phase when compared to metaphase, anaphase and telophase. This prophase is the longest phase in the mitosis. Now, coming to the next phase, that is nothing but the metaphase. What is happening in the metaphase? Metaphase is one of the important phase in which the chromosomes will start placing themselves on the equatorial plate. I will be showing you how it happens. This is the cell. You know that the center of it is called as equator. For the globe, how we see that this is the equator and these are the polar ends or the polar region. In the same way, all the chromosomes whichever are present, they start placing themselves on the equatorial plate like this. And the centrioles move away to the corners and the spindle fibers come and attach to the centromeres. What is a centromere? Do you remember, children? I told you with the beginning of the class, this is called as a centromere of a chromosome. So, if the chromosome is placed like this, the spindle fibers come and attach to it over here. I will be showing you to you clearly over here. So, see, these are the chromosomes which are arranged on the equatorial plate, and the fibers have attached from the spindle, from the centrioles towards the center of the chromosome, that is nothing but to the centromere. So, this is what is happening in the phase called as the metaphase. So, what are the things that are occurring in the metaphase? The chromosomes move towards the equatorial plate and the spindle fibers are attaching towards the centromeres of the chromosomes. So, what happens in the next phase called as the anaphase? Before that, I will like to give you one hint. This M can be compared with middle. Like you have to remember what is happening in the metaphase. M is middle. So, all the chromosomes are arranging themselves in the middle of the cell. You can remember it in this way. It is like a remembering a short form for you to remember. Metaphase, middle. So, all the chromosomes are arranging themselves in the middle of the cell. The next phase is nothing but the anaphase. What will be happening in the anaphase? Just take a look at the slide, children. You can look in the slide that the spindle fibers are pulling away the chromosomes. What happens is, now all of them have arranged themselves on the equatorial plate, see. So, what is happening, as you are seeing in the slide, all the spindle fibers are attached and the chromosomes are moving away in the slide. I will be showing it you in a direct way how it is happening. Just look at this model. See here. Whenever spindle fibers are contracting, these chromatids are moving towards the polar regions. Are you able to see? You can see it clearly in the upwards. See how they are moving. It is because the spindle fibers are slowly contracting. All the chromatids move towards the polar regions. So, this is what is happening in the case of the anaphase. I will be showing it to you on the board also. So, in the mitotic stage, all the chromosomes were there on the equatorial plate. Now, what is happening? These spindle fibers have started contracting, that is, they started going or pulling the chromosomes towards the polar regions. So, what happens in the anaphase now? These chromosomes starts disassociating, that is, these sister chromatids start moving towards the polar regions. So, this is what is happening. So, because of the contraction of the spindle fibers, whatever the chromatids were there which were together in the metaphase, they were divided and were moved apart from each other towards the polar regions. So, this is what is happening in the anaphase. One more way to remember what is happening in the anaphase is A for away. Away is the chromatids are moving away from the central part of the cell towards the polar regions or the polar ends of the cell. So, in this way you can remember anaphase is away. So this was about the 3 phases. Now the last phase is nothing but the telophase. This phase, there is nothing much to happen, that is all the things whichever has happened in the prophase, all of them get reversed back. Just take a look at the slide, children. Now here what happens is, what happened in the prophase? The nuclear membrane has disappeared. What happens in the telophase now? Whichever the nuclear membrane that has disappeared, it comes back. But does it form in the center? No, it does not form in the center, because all the chromosomes have moved apart to the polar ends. So the nuclear membrane starts forming here, and whatever the genetic material that was in the form of chromosomes starts changing into again chromatin material, that is a tangled thread like structure. So this is what is happening in the telophase. That is, by the end of the telophase, 2 daughter nuclei are formed. What is the what do you mean by nuclei? The plural form of the nucleus is nothing but nuclei. So by the end of the telophase, 2 daughter nuclei are formed. You can see it in the slide also very clearly that the 2 daughter nuclei are being formed, and there is a small partition in between. Now this partition is the beginning of the cytokinesis. Now let us look into cytokinesis, because we have finished by, what do you mean by karyokinesis? Cytokinesis, as I told you in the beginning itself, cytokinesis is nothing but, it is the division of the cell and the cytoplasm, that is a complete division of the cell takes place here. In the case of the animal cell, after the formation of the nuclei, a small constriction starts occurring here, which slowly deepens towards the center, and both of them divide into 2 cells with 2 nuclei. This is how it occurs in the case of animal cell. What is happening after the formation of the 2 nuclei? A small constriction occurs here, and the constriction continues towards the center, and it pinches off the cell or separates the one cell into 2 daughter cells. But in the case of the plant cell, the process is little different, because you have already learned in the first session of the cell that there is few differences between the animal cell and the plant cell. If you take in the case of the plant cell, after the daughter nuclei are formed, there will be a cell plate that is being formed, and on the either side, that is on both the sides of the cell plate, slowly the cell wall starts appearing, and then the cell membrane also. So after the formation of this cell wall and cell membrane, the cell completely gets divided into 2 daughter cells with the cell wall and the cell membrane. So there is a very small difference in the case of cytokinesis between the animal cell and plant cell. In the case of the animal cell, there is a small constriction that is happening, and which is moving into the center and dividing the cell into 2, whereas in the case of the plant cell, there will be a cell plate that is formed, after which the cell wall and the cell membrane are slowly formed, and they are being divided into the 2 cells. So this is all about the mitosis. I would like to show you with the help of this. So this is mitosis that is happening. Interphase is the first phase, as we have already seen. This is also called as the preparatory phase. Then comes the prophase. Then is the metaphase, where the chromosomes are arranged on the equatorial plate and the spindle fibers are being produced from the centrioles. Then comes the anaphase, where the chromosomes are being pulled away towards the ends of the cell with the help of the condensation or contraction of the spindle fibers. Then comes the telophase, where a constriction has occurred after the 2 daughter nuclei are formed. Then this is the complete formation of 2 daughter cells after cytokinesis. That is, the 2 daughter cells have completely separated themselves with their own nucleus and the cytoplasm and all the cell organelles. So this is all about mitosis. So this is the important type of cell division called as mitosis. Now as you have seen in the slide also, cytokinesis, how it is occurring. Now next, moving to the significance of mitosis. You know, any process that is taking place inside our body or in the nature always have some or the other significance or importance. Now let us see what is its importance, where is it is useful in our body. As we have discussed in the beginning of the class, that whenever we get a wound or a hurt, the cells are dividing and helping to heal it. So which type of cell division is useful over there? Mitosis. So we can say that it helps in the healing of the wounds. It helps in healing of the wounds. And any repair in your body, that is your body has undergone repair, any body organ is not functioning properly, this is the mitosis is the process which will be helping in repairing of our body. It may be any organ which has got any repair in your body, there immediately the mitosis process starts and it starts healing or completely making your body healthy again. Second thing is it helps in the growth of the body. This also we have learned in the beginning of the session. I told you this is the cell division is the process which is helping in the growth of the body. That is which process over there? Mitosis is the process which is helping in the growth of the body. And the other importance of mitosis is it helps to maintain the same chromosome number. We have seen that whatever the number the mother cell was having or the parent cell was having, the same number was given even to the daughter cells also. That is 46 in the parent cell, when they were divided into the daughter cells, the same 46 was given for both of them. And one more importance of this mitosis is it helps in the asexual reproduction. This asexual reproduction is seen in the lower group of organisms. For example, you take amoeba. How does amoeba reproduce? This is the mitosis is the process where through which the amoeba is getting reproduced. That is, as usual, the two daughter nuclei are formed and after that the cytokinesis takes place where the two daughter amoeba cells are formed with their own nuclei. So mitosis helps in healing of the wounds, repair of our body, helps in the growth, it helps to maintain the same chromosome number, and it also helps in the asexual reproduction in lower group of organisms like amoeba, bacteria and many more. So this is all about mitosis. I have forgot to tell you that mitosis was first observed by a scientist called as Walther Fleming. He was a scientist who has discovered mitosis in the year 1878. So his discovery or his study made us learn what is happening during the process of mitosis. So this is all about mitosis. Now let us move into the next process or the next type of division. What is it, children? It is nothing but meiosis. So we have learned completely about mitosis, what are the various phases in it, who discovered it, and what is happening all throughout the phase and how the cell is dividing. Now let us learn about the next process, that is nothing but meiosis. Meiosis is discovered by a scientist called as Oscar Hertwig, and that too in the year 1876. That is before mitosis, meiosis was actually discovered. As I told you in the beginning, mitosis occurs only in the somatic cells, whereas meiosis occurs in the reproductive cells. Where do you find the reproductive cells? Naturally in the reproductive organs, that is in the testis in the males and the ovum in the case of the females. And this meiosis is called as reduction division. What do you mean by reduction? You all know reduction or reducing is becoming less. So what is happening in this process is, in this meiosis, the chromosome number which is present in the parent cell is reduced to half. I will show you. If this is the mother cell or the parent cell having 46 chromosomes, when it is dividing to form the daughter cells, it gives only 23 chromosomes to each of the daughter cell. So is the same number being transferred to the daughter cells? No. Only half of the chromosomes are given to each of the daughter cells. That is the reason it is called as the reduction division. Then why this reduction division is necessary over here? What will happen if there is no reduction of the chromosomes? We have seen in mitosis that there was no reduction. The same number of chromosomes or the constant number was maintained, or was being transmitted from the parent cell to the daughter cells. Whereas in the case of the meiosis, the chromosome number is getting reduced, that is exactly to the half. Why this process is happening in meiosis? I will be telling you now. Listen to it carefully. Let us think of a situation. This is a male cell or the sperm, and this is the female cell or the egg. Now both are having 46 chromosomes. These are the reproductive cells. Remember children, they are not undergoing the process of meiosis, that is there is no reduction of the chromosome number that is taking place. You all know that whenever a male and female cell, that is the sperm and the egg, fuse together, they form the zygote, and from there every living organism starts its life. Now they have not undergone any process of reduction. This is 46, this is 46. So what is the number of chromosomes that the zygote is going to get? 46 from here, 46 from there. So what is the number? It is 92. So this generation, let us call this as the first generation of the children. So what is the number of chromosomes that this generation is going to have? 92. Let us continue. So in this generation also you will be having a male with 92 chromosomes, a female with 92 chromosomes. Again the generation has to be continued. So they also fuse or mate together and they give rise to the second generation. So what will be the number of chromosomes in these children? What we have to do? We have to add this 92 plus 92, because the chromosome reduction is not taking place. So what happens? 92 plus 92, it is 184. So generation after generation, are the chromosome number increasing? Yes, it was 46 which has increased to 92, which has increased to 184. But is this really happening around us in our real lives? No. What will happen if this is happening around us? There will be many changes that will be occurring in the bodies of the humans, and the humans may not survive because of these changes in the chromosome number. It may also lead to the extinction of the human race or any animal race which is present on the earth because of this uncontinuous growth or the increase in the chromosome number generation after generation. To stop this process, the nature has created itself a type of division called as meiosis, that too only in the case of the reproductive cells, because only in the case of reproduction two cell nuclei are uniting to form zygote, whereas in the case of mitosis, are two cells uniting to form? No, they equally divide into two daughter cells. So there is no fusion of the cells that is happening in the case of mitosis. But whereas in the case of meiosis, what is happening? The nuclei of both the chromosomes has to fuse to form a zygote, which will give rise to the next younger generation. So this meiosis is called as meiosis is a process in which the reduction division is taking place. If the reduction division takes place, what happens? Let us keep it like this only. It is giving only 23, the egg is also giving 23, so 46. Again reduction is taking place, so 23 here it will be with the 46 and 46. Again reduction takes place, 23 here and 23 from the female, so again 46. So the same constant number of chromosomes is being maintained. So for this process, meiosis is an important cell division in the case of which type of cells, children? Reproductive cells. I hope you all have understood what will happen if the reproductive cells do not undergo the process of meiosis. If they undergo the process of meiosis only, the same constant number of chromosomes will be maintained in each and every division. Just look at the slide. What is meiosis? Meiosis is a cell division that occurs in the sex cells or the reproductive cells or the gametes. What is happening here is what you have learned previously in the case of mitosis. In the case of mitosis, every cell was dividing into two daughter cells. But in the case of meiosis, what is happening is, this is the parent cell. This will first divide into 2 cells. This is called as meiosis 1. And again these 2 cells will be dividing into 4 cells. This is called as the meiosis 2 process. So, in the case of the mitosis, there was only one phase, that is directly the mother cell or the parent cell was giving rise to 2 daughter cells. But in the case of the meiosis, the parent cell first divides into 2 daughter cells by the process of meiosis 1, and then by the next process called as meiosis 2, it divides into 4 daughter cells. Now, you can take a look at the slide, children. What is happening in meiosis? The parent cell is giving rise to, or the DNA replication takes place, and it is giving rise to 2 daughter cells, whereas those 2 daughter cells are again dividing into 4 daughter cells. So, this is what is happening in the meiosis, that is 4 daughter cells are formed along with the reduction in the chromosome number. Now, let us see how this meiosis process takes place in the case of the human beings. Just take a look at the slide, children. The father is having the number of chromosomes and the mother is also having 46 number of chromosomes. What is happening? There is a X and Y chromosome in the case of father, whereas in the mother 2 X chromosomes are present. What are these X and Y and XX called as? They are called as the sex chromosomes. Now, whenever it is XY, it will be a male child, and whenever it is XX, it will be a female child. Just take a look at the slide. This meiosis is helping in maintaining the constant number of chromosomes throughout the generations. It is also helping in the formation of gametes or formation of the sex cells during the process of reproduction, and it also leads to the formation of many variations during the process of meiosis, and at the same time many new species can also be formed whenever there is a crossing over that occurs during the meiosis. So, this is all about the significance of meiosis. As I have told you in the beginning, we will be also comparing what is the difference between the mitosis and meiosis. Just take a look at the slide. Mitosis, it occurs in the somatic cells, as we have discussed. What do you mean by somatic cells? In the meiosis, it occurs in the reproductive cells, whereas in the case of mitosis 2 daughter cells are formed, whereas in the case of meiosis 4 daughter cells are formed. In mitosis the chromosome number is not changed, whereas in the meiosis the chromosome number is reduced to half. There is no crossing over that is taking place in mitosis, whereas in the case of meiosis crossing over is taking place. Mitosis is called as the equational division, whereas meiosis is called as the reduction division. So, this is all about the cell division which we have discussed. Now, coming to the other topic which we have which I have stated you in the beginning, that is nothing but heredity. Now, just take a look at around yourself, you, your sisters and your family members. Do you share any similarities between them? No. You are not sharing, you are sharing the similarities with whom? You will be sharing with the similarities with your mother. You will be sharing similarities with your father, and you will be having few similarities even with your aunt also or your grandparents also. Now, how are these characters being transferred from your parents or your grandparents to you? What is the process that is taking place here? That process is nothing but heredity, or we can also call it as inheritance. Because of this process, the characters are being transferred from the parents to the children, that is from the parents to the progeny. So, the process which is occurring over here is inheritance, that is the transfer of characters, the process in which the characters of the mother or the father or the grandparents getting transferred into the progeny or the children is called as inheritance, and heredity is nothing but how the characters are being transferred. So, before moving into how it is happening, we have to remember about a great scientist called as Gregor Mendel. So, he was the person in 1857 worked out a lot on a plant called as pea plant, or it is also called as Pisum sativum. It is the scientific name of that plant, or we generally call it as a pea plant. So this scientist called as Gregor Mendel worked a lot on this plant. He didn't do his work either in a laboratory or in a big university. He did all his work on this pea plant in a monastery, that is in a church where he used to work. What did he do over there is, he selected this pea plant and he started experimenting on this plant. You all may get a doubt, why only the pea plant when we are having so many different plants around us? Why did he select this pea plant? It is because of few reasons that he has selected. Why is, as you can see in the slide, it is having a well defined characters, that is it is having 7 contrasting characters between two plants. Okay, it is a bisexual plant. What do you mean by bisexual? Bisexual is, it is having, the flower is having both the male and the female reproductive parts in it. It is a predominantly self-pollinating plant. What do you mean by self-pollinating? That is, it can pollinate among itself, and it is also having the capability of cross-pollinating. That is, from one plant to other plant, it is called as cross-pollinating. Within the same plant, it is called as self-pollination. So both these types can be done in the case of pea plant. And one more thing is, it is an annual plant. That is, it completes its life cycle within 1 year. So Gregor thought that I can easily come to the conclusion if it is taking only 1 year to complete its life cycle, and it can be grown anywhere easily. It does not require any special conditions to be grown. So what did he do is, after selecting the pea plant, he started studying the generations of it. What did he do is, he has done we will be studying about monohybrid cross, which he has done as a part of his experiment. In the monohybrid cross, he has taken a pair of characters. What do you mean by pair of characters? Every character whichever is there in your body, it may be your height, it may be your weight, your intelligence, the type of the eye color you have, everything is determined by a pair of factors. These were called as factors by Mendel. Now they are called as genes. So a pair of alleles is called as a gene. So every character in our body is being determined by a pair of alleles or a gene. Now in the monohybrid cross, which is done by Mendel, he crossed the heterozygous ones. One was having capital T, one was having small t, and when he fused them, he got all the plants in which the dominant allele was there and the recessive allele was there. So you, as you know, the dominant will be suppressing the recessive. All the tall plants he got in the F1 generation or the first generation. Now he took 2 plants of this F1 generation and he crossed them. When he crossed them, he didn't do like us this way. He did it on a checkerboard or a Punnett square. You can see it over here in the slide also, or I will draw it on the board. This is capital T, small t. This is capital T, small t. Here it is the female, here it is the male. So when he has crossed these, in one child or one progeny, it was capital T, capital T. When this and this was crossed, it was capital T, small t. When this and this was crossed, it was capital T and small t. And the last one, both were small t. Now can you tell me which will be the tall plants and the short plant? This will be tall, this will be tall, this also will be tall, whereas this will be the short plant. This is because here all are dominant, here one is dominant, here it is dominant, whereas here both are recessive. So this character will be expressed. So how many tall plants are there? 3. How many short plants are there? 1. This ratio is called as the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is the ratio which is seen externally, whatever we can see. Tallness you can see externally. Whereas when we go to the genotypic ratio, that is the nature of the genes, capital T is to capital T, small t is to small t, small t. How many capital T are there? 1. How many capital T, small t? 2. And how many small t, 1? So what is this called as the genotypic ratio. So in a monohybrid cross which was done by Mendel, he could know that 3:1 was the phenotypic ratio and 1:2:1 is the genotypic ratio. So because of this crossing of the alleles, this is how the characters were transferred from the parents to the progeny. So just let us take a look at the summary what we have learned today, that mitosis and meiosis are the two kinds of the cell division. Mitosis occurs only in the somatic cells, whereas meiosis occurs in the reproductive cells also. And transmission of characters from the parents to the offsprings is called as heredity. Mendel is considered as the father of genetics because he has done a lot of work on the pea plant and gave us all the experimental evidences. Now children, you all have to do the project work. The project work is, just look at the slide. Do you think marriage within the blood relations may be harmful to the children or the next generations? Collect the information about the effects of consanguineous marriages. What are these consanguineous marriages? Marriages within the blood relation or within the close family members, they are called as consanguineous marriages. So try to collect information about this and write down whether these types of marriages are harmful to the children who will be born after their marriage. And the next project work is, you all have to write down the differences between mitosis and meiosis, make a chart on it and also draw the Venn diagram about it. As a part of social awareness, we have been discussing about consanguineous marriages. Actually, consanguineous marriages are not preferable. The reason is, there will be many birth defects in the children who are being born after these marriages. They will be having hearing impairment or vision impairment. Mentally, there not be a normal growth as it is seen in the growth of the normal children. They will have many inherited, that is from the parents to the children, many such type of disorders, and they may die also without having any definite reason. So these consanguineous marriages are not preferable. So please don't try to go to this type of marriages. Thank you all.